Las Vegas Raiders wasted no time shaking up their roster after the rookie minicamp, diving headfirst into a wave of signings that brought 6 fresh faces into the building. On the surface, it might seem like your typical off-season maneuvering, but every single addition carries a purpose, a strategic thought process that's worth unpacking. When you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, factoring in the 12 recent roster changes between exits and new arrivals, you start to see a clear direction. Today we're going to peel back the layers of these decisions, starting with the linebacker addition that immediately sparked conversations and frankly raised some eyebrows. This particular signing came to light on Mother's Day, catching fans and analysts off guard. The initial reaction? Concern. Could this be a signal that the Raiders were struggling with depth or performance issues in the linebacker room? That was the speculation at first. But as the dust settled, it became apparent that this move wasn't about bailing out struggling players. Instead, it pointed directly to a strategic recalibration, particularly following the release of a player who many thought had a real shot at making the roster. The story here isn't just about filling a gap. It's about relationships, system familiarity, and leveraging past connections to build the present. One of the biggest factors in this decision revolves around the coaching staff. The player in question has a history with key members of the Raiders defensive unit. He previously worked under a coach back in 2021 with another franchise, and once again in 2023 with the Raiders themselves. But it doesn't stop there. Another prominent defensive coach who joined the Raiders recently also shared a stint with this player at a different organization. These pre-existing relationships matter. They represent trust, understanding of the player's capabilities, and a seamless integration into the team's defensive schemes. It's clear that familiarity is a cornerstone of the Raiders' approach to roster building this offseason. But beyond the personal ties, there's a larger narrative unfolding here, the rehabilitation project of the linebacker group. It's a term that's been floated around frequently this offseason. The idea is that players who face setbacks, whether through injury or inconsistent play, are being given second chances under this regime. It makes you wonder, could the defensive coordinator be looking to replicate the success of past reclamation projects with this particular linebacker, who now stands at 29 years old? It's a compelling storyline, especially considering the challenges and fierce competition that define the linebacker position in the NFL. We've seen how college rivalries and devastating injuries can derail promising careers, and perhaps this is the Raiders' way of betting on potential resurgence. After all, the team is navigating a linebacker group that lacks proven depth. Yes, there's a mix of young talent and eager prospects, but how many of them are genuinely ready to contribute at an NFL level? That's the critical question. Bringing in a veteran presence like this isn't just about on-field production. It's about elevating the competition, setting a standard, and perhaps giving the younger players a benchmark to aspire to. Optimism surrounds at least one of these new signings, a player who many believe has untapped potential that could flourish in the right environment. From the organization's perspective, this isn't a luxury move. It's a calculated attempt to blend experience with hunger, adding a player with 88 games under his belt, 626 tackles to his name, and a resume that commands respect. Numbers like these don't go unnoticed. Even if the path back to a full-time role isn't guaranteed, his presence in camp can be a catalyst for others to step up their game. Another layer to this signing is the intangible value the player brings. Leadership, professionalism, and locker room influence are qualities that often go unmeasured by statistics, but are crucial in building a cohesive team. This linebacker has worn the captain's C on his jersey multiple times, both at a reputable college program and during his tenure with other NFL teams. Those experiences shape a player's mentality, bringing an edge of accountability and work ethic that can ripple through the entire roster. It aligns perfectly with the Raiders' draft philosophy this year, which emphasized not just talent, but character and long-term cultural fit. However, amidst all this analysis, one must ask the inevitable question: will this player actually make the final 53-man roster? If you ask me, the answer is no. I do not foresee him carving out a spot when the dust settles. But that doesn't diminish the importance of his signing. Sometimes a team needs to send a message, a wake-up call to others in the same position group. By bringing in a seasoned veteran, the Raiders are effectively turning up the heat, pushing younger players to elevate their performance or risk being left behind. This competitive pressure can be one of the most effective motivators in a high-stakes environment like the NFL. It's a tried and true method. You shake up the status quo by making a bold move, forcing everyone to reassess their place in the pecking order. The release of a player who seemed like a potential roster lock has already sent shockwaves through the locker room. It's a calculated play to reignite urgency and sharpen focus among the rookies and fringe players vying for a spot. This linebacker signing might not move the needle in terms of star power, but its ripple effect could be significant in shaping the final roster dynamics. Interestingly, the Raiders followed a similar pattern with another recent acquisition, a former safety from a notable college program. This player isn't someone whose name lit up draft boards or drew widespread media attention. In fact, unless you're an avid follower of his college games, he might not have even been on your radar. Yet after working out with the team over a weekend, he was signed and officially added to the roster. His collegiate resume isn't filled with eye-popping stats, but what stands out is his reputation as a dedicated special teams contributor and a respected figure in the locker room. Much like the linebacker discussed earlier, this safety's primary value lies in his intangibles. He was a 4-time captain at Penn State, an accolade shared by only one other player in the program's storied history. Leadership, resilience, and a relentless work ethic define his profile. Though he has yet to make his regular season NFL debut, his commitment to special teams and his readiness to embrace any role offered to him resonate with the Raiders' current roster building philosophy. It's not always about finding the flashiest names. Sometimes it's about assembling the right puzzle pieces to fortify the team's foundation. In a roster filled with uncertainties, especially in the safety room and special teams units, adding a player like this is a strategic move. Rather than overextending financially for a high-profile signing who might not align with the team's long-term vision, the Raiders are opting for players who bring grit, leadership, and the willingness to grind. These are the kinds of acquisitions that don't make headlines but can quietly elevate a team's overall competitiveness and depth. Expanding on this approach, the Raiders also brought in a handful of other players who fit a similar mold. There's a recurring theme here. Athletes who may not have superstar pedigrees but possess attributes highly valued by this coaching staff. Whether it's versatility on the defensive line, as seen with the addition of a player from SMU who's drawn comparisons to names like Kyle Van Noy and Andrew Van Ginkel, or wide receivers from Baylor and Miami designed to add size and field stretching capability. The Raiders are clearly focused on addressing specific roster needs with targeted, calculated moves. The front office is emphasizing traits like speed, flexibility, and special teams prowess. One receiver, standing over 6 feet 3 inches tall with an impressive 19.7 yards per reception average, embodies the deep threat profile the Raiders are seeking. This isn't just about catching passes. It's about keeping defenses honest, preventing them from crowding the line of scrimmage, and creating opportunities for the rest of the offense. Another noteworthy addition is a dynamic return specialist who averaged an eye-popping 30.5 yards per kickoff return. His contributions at the collegiate level, coupled with his versatility, make him an intriguing prospect for a Raiders team looking to inject explosiveness into their return game. Again, we see the focus on adding players who can immediately compete for special teams roles while also offering developmental potential in their primary positions. Lastly, the addition of a linebacker known for his special teams acumen and competitive fire rounds out this wave of signings. Though his 40-yard dash time might not turn heads, his agility and ability to excel in coverage situations present valuable attributes. The Raiders are clearly in the process of retooling their special teams unit, ensuring they have a diverse set of options heading into training camp. These moves might seem like depth signings on the surface, but they serve a greater purpose in fostering a culture of competition and continuous improvement. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Head coach Pete Carroll, known for his energetic and optimistic demeanor, is showing signs of concern as the Las Vegas Raiders struggle to find their rhythm in preseason training. What was initially expected to be a confident build-up to a promising season has quickly turned into a series of underwhelming performances, leaving Carroll visibly unsettled about the team's readiness and overall cohesion. Sources close to the team reveal that Carroll has been alarmed by the lack of intensity and execution during practice sessions. Players appear disconnected, with drills lacking the sharpness and urgency that Carroll demands. The coach, who took the helm with high hopes of revitalizing the Raiders, is reportedly frustrated by the team's failure to meet even basic training standards. This unease is a stark contrast to Carroll's usual upbeat coaching style, which helped shape championship-level squads in the past. His concerns go beyond temporary rust or off-season fatigue. He is reportedly worried about deeper issues, such as a lack of leadership within the roster and a worrying absence of competitive fire. It's not just a slow start. We're not seeing the commitment this team needs to be competitive, a team insider commented. Coach Carroll is doing everything to light a fire under the squad, but the response hasn't been there yet. With the NFL season rapidly approaching, the pressure is mounting. Fans and analysts are already questioning whether the Raiders can shake off this early malaise and become serious playoff contenders. Carroll, for his part, has emphasized urgency in recent meetings and practices, pushing players to elevate their game and meet the standards expected at the professional level. While it's too early to declare the season in jeopardy, Carroll's apprehension signals that major adjustments may be on the horizon. If the team fails to respond soon, the Raiders could face a long and disappointing campaign under a coach who knows what it takes to win, but may be facing one of his toughest challenges yet. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.